know. She's there.
I loaded up on that over there.
It won't be enough. Yeah.
So we gotta use one or the other.
Yeah, so we would normally.
Just remember last month you were saying instead of me running over there, I can run here. Yeah. But it's okay. Well, you know, it doesn't matter to me.
Where's the it's a live one? Okay.
It's on the thumb drive already.
Okay. So
Yeah. The applicant would be over here. Okay. Give me a second here, Mr. Chair.
Good evening and welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Augusta Historic Preservation Commission. The Historic Preservation Commission hears and makes decisions on applications of certificate of appropriateness in accordance with the powers granted under Section 7, Chapter 4 of the Augusta, Georgia Code. In making a decision on a COA, the Commission may consider but shall not be bound by precedent. Each case shall be decided upon its merit, applying the Historic Preservation Ordinance, the applicable guidelines, design guidelines, excuse me, if a quorum is not present at the regular meeting of the commission, a special meeting shall be held within 14 calendar days from such scheduled meeting. Any person affected by the commission's decision may file an appeal with the Augusta Commission. The meeting will be conducted in accordance with the commission's bylaws, rules and procedures, and the latest edition of Robert Rules of Order, unless otherwise directed by the majority of the commission in session at the time. The commission encourages participation in this hearing, and there is no restriction on who may address the commission within the allotted time. But the commission asks that the public comments be brief, on subject, and directed to the commission and not to any individual group. For a little housekeeping straight, tonight we're going to make the presentations. The staff will make presentations over here, and all the applicants will address the commission on our left, but your right, the audience right.
that's good.
And please, when you come forward, please state your name, your address, and speak into the microphone so we can hear you. And commissioners, when you turn your mic on, speak into the microphone and pronounce your name so Todd can get record of for our minutes. Kevin?
All right, good afternoon. Going to go over the agenda items here for you. The first item is to call the meeting to order. Second is approval of the minutes from the meetings held for July 24th and August 28th. And then we're going to go to old business, COA 2535. This is an item that was postponed from the July 24th meeting. Item is postponed to the October meeting per the applicant. It is a petition by Matthew A. Howard for a certificate of occupancy at 2345 William Street. It's located in the Somerville Historic District. The property request is for a construction of a new single-family house. And the approval of this petition would satisfy the provisional approval of COA 2531. The next item is a follow-up on review of Senate Bill 101. And the new business items, we have a certificate of occupants, or certificate of appropriateness, COA 2545. This is a petition by Lee Booker, a certificate of appropriateness at 822 Fleming Avenue. This is located in Somerville Historic District. The request is to replace a fence along the rear property from the existing wood material to a brick masonry material. Sub item B, COA 2546. This is a petition by Seegers Fence Company on behalf of First Christian Church for a certificate of appropriateness for 629 Green Street. This is located in the downtown historic district. The request is to install a 6-foot-high fence along the perimeter of the backyard of the existing parish building. Sub-item C, COA 2547, this is a petition by Keen Signs on behalf of Brianne Martin for a certificate of appropriateness located at 1243 Broad Street. This is located in the downtown historic district. The request is to install 2 signs on the front of an existing storefront. Next item is COA 2548. This is a petition by Eric Montgomery with the Historic Augusta on behalf of Christ Community Church, Christ Community Healthcare for a certificate of appropriateness located at 127 Telfair Street and 416 2nd Street. These properties are located in the Old Town Historic District. The request is to relocate 3 existing cottages to a new location and to demolish 1 accessory building. Sub-item E is a COA 2549. It is a petition by JKGC LLC on behalf of Diane House for a certificate of appropriateness, COA at 1544 Craig Street. This is located in Somerville Historic District. The request is to demolish an existing home that was burnt and construction of a new home in the same location. And the next item is sub-item F, the COA 2550, a petition by Amar S. Patel on behalf of Naaman Augusta LLC, a certificate of appropriateness for 1140 Broad Street, and it's located in that downtown historic district. The request is to demolish an existing commercial structures on site and redevelop the site for a new hotel. And so the ordering of these may be changed based on the opinions of the board and decision by the board. And then we have items for discussion. This is for information purposes, a list of staff-approved COAs for the month of August through September, and discussion of previous COA-approved issuance and statuses. And then we have the legal session, and that concludes the agenda.
I'd like to request that we take item B of 3 of the old business and pull that from the agenda tonight, because we have no new information for that. Council and I have not had a chance to sit down and address that issue, so I'd like to have that pulled from the agenda. Do I hear a motion and a second on that item from the commission?
I motion that you pull that, Mr. Chairman, until the further date.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you, gentlemen. Also, been some discussion about item F, COA 25-50. I understand there's some changes in that particular COA, and I would ask that we move that to the first item so we can move on with it at this time. Do I have a motion that we do this?
I make a motion to move 2550 to the first.
What, man?
Just say if there's no objection, you'll take.
All right. Is there any objection for this? All right. Hearing none, we'll take up the first item. Todd?
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Good to see you all again. I'd like to go ahead and take this opportunity to let you all know that this item has been requested to be postponed by staff recommendation, but also as requested by the applicant. One of the things I'd like to point out that was brought to staff's attention earlier this week is, or actually as of Friday, September 19th, the information that I was provided, or our department was provided, due to a recent fire incident at 1140 Broad Street. Any future plans of this property is currently on hold pending a criminal investigation. At this time, the matter remains under the jurisdiction of the fire department until further notice. So I'd just like to bring that to your attention, but also I do have the applicant here who would definitely provide more information if you need to.
Mr. Trotter?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Barbie. We just would like to seek to postpone this to the October 23rd meeting so we can get the full report from the fire marshal and be prepared with that as well. But I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to address this issue at this time? Just for comment?
Come on down, sir.
Coming down. Please give us your name and address.
Hold him to your left. I think you're right, not left.
Good. It's open.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Willie Harpo, and I am a constituent, a native of Augusta. My address is 2427 Ridge Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30906. But I am a native of Frog Hollow, the downtown Jones Street area. My objection to this proposal stems around the fact that during the time that the property had been vacant, it
Mr.
had
Chair,
been.
it's already been postponed.
At this time, we can't take an objection.
Okay. All right. Yes, I agree with the postponement because there are issues that I was going to raise that I would have requested a postponement anyway. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, commissioners, do we have anyone else?
I got it.
Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Young, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I've got some questions about this, and I'm new to this board. I've only been on here a couple of months. Y'all have dealt with this for a long time. In fact, you've been dealing with it back to 2021. And I was really surprised when I looked at the pictures that are in the backup here of these buildings, and I'm wondering what, since 2021, the city has done to keep these buildings from deteriorating, being demolished by deterioration, really demolished by neglect. And if this is further postponed, what is the city intending to do with, there are two other buildings involved that have nothing to do with the arson and the fire department. What is your intention during this period when this is being sat on, extended one more time? What's your intention to deal with these buildings? I mean, we've got fire codes, we have health and safety codes, we have building codes, we have a mothball code, and it doesn't look like any of this has been addressed over the last 4 years. And I just don't understand why you take something and keep kicking it down the road.
Mr. Vassar, would you like to comment on that, please, sir?
Can you repeat that question one more time, Mr. Barr? I'm sorry.
Well, in view of the lack of attention to these properties by the city over the last 4 years, what are the intentions of the city to deal with stabilizing these properties while this request is being sat on for another month or two, or however many months they need to postpone this?
At this time, I would say that I know in the past, I think the owner had tried to mothball the place, from my understanding, but I think someone have tried to get back inside. I know the owner have did that multiple times.
Commissioner Young, I'll be happy to give you just a brief history if you'd like.
Well, I'm more concerned about what's happening going forward. The pictures give us a pretty good history lesson as to what has been allowed to happen to the two historic buildings that are involved in this. My concern is that this demolition by neglect is just going to continue as this is postponed for another period of time. And, you know, the city has the tools to protect these historic properties downtown and to enforce owners to hold them to some minimum standard. And it's my impression from looking at the material that we have that has not been happening. I just want to know, you know, we're going to have a fire in one of the other buildings next month? What is going to be the status of these properties? What protection is the city going to give these properties using the city laws and codes and ordinances while this is being delayed again? Because you know,
Can't speak on behalf of the city. I'm here to speak on behalf of the property owner.
and what is he willing to do while we sit on this?
Well, Commissioner Young, what he's done over
No,
the-
what is he going to do? We know what he's done.
I understand.
Yeah.
What he has done, I'm gonna get to what he will do, is he has been securing the buildings. I know that some may argue that it wasn't sufficient, but it has been secured with plywood over and over and over and over again. It continues to be pulled away. Vagrants get inside. A year ago, we were before this commission, I think exactly 12 months ago, because someone had gotten in and gone upstairs and thrown a brick out that luckily did not hurt anyone. There was additional security done at that time to try to secure the buildings, but people continue to break into them. And I understand your frustration. Frankly, I'm frustrated. This is my third or fourth time before this board on this same property. The property owner fully intends to build a hotel and would like to build a hotel, and those are his plans, and they are closer now than they have been before. But a group of downtown property owners came to him and said, look, before you build a hotel, would you consider allowing us to use this for temporary parking to alleviate the lack of parking during the TIA project? That was the impetus for filing this a month ago. The fire happened last week. We've decided to seek a postponement so we can get a full report from that fire and come back before you on October the 23rd. Right now, based off what Mr. Kennedy just read, I'm not sure we can do anything if the fire department has jurisdiction over it until they complete their investigation.
Right, the fire was in one of the three buildings, correct?
And there hadn't been any, well,
Is that?
I think it was in two.
The fire was in
brick
two of the buildings?
buildings.
Okay, because it's giving one street address for the fire.
Right, it's one street address. There are three, they were combined into one parcel. Right. The largest building is the old Sky City, single-story, old department store. I don't believe anyone thinks it's got any historical significance, but I could be wrong. The two brick buildings, I believe, were significantly damaged in the fire last week.
I know we're not here discussing the merits of the application tonight. The question is whether to postpone. And I would uncomfortably support a postponement, but this thing has just been postponed beyond end, and I would hope that in October there's finality if this comes back.
I got a lot of files in my office I would love to close, and this may be at the top of the list.
Just to reiterate what Mr. Young said, and I'm not going to dispute the fact that efforts were not made to mothball the building, but no serious effort was made to mothball that building as per the guidelines we gave the owner repeatedly over the past 4 years. It can be done, it can be successfully done, and the owner was an absentee owner from out of town. If you put substantial plywood and efforts toward securing that building, when the first intrusion is made, it's the owner's responsibility to repair that immediately. And that did not happen. And that is why we're in this predicament now with the building having been burned, maybe beyond salvaging, because the owner did not live up to his responsibility in maintaining that building as it should have been.
I just have one question. We're going to build a hotel. Where did the parking lot come in? That's not even mentioned in the COA at all. When
I believe it is. It was part of our application.
That's not listed here. It was advertised on the billboard on the outside. We're going to build a hotel. And now
Commissioner Harvey, it was part of the application, And there was a sketch of what the parking lot could look like. It may not be mentioned on the agenda, but it was most certainly part of the application. And a letter of the letter of intent that went along with it.
Limited to the motion to postpone, because that's what we're considering now, whether or not to postpone, so that's kind of how it's.
Okay, well, may I have a motion, we postpone this for another 30 days from any of the commissioners?
I make a motion to postpone.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion to postpone, and I have a second, proper second. All in favor, raise your hand.
Passed by unanimous vote, Mr. Chair.
We'll be back in 4 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next application.
Oh, good, it works. Okay. Okay. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, once again, Todd Kennedy here to discuss this case. The case you have before you is the COA 25-45, a petition by Ms. Lee Booker for COA 822 Fleming, located within the Somerville Historic District. The request to replace an existing fence that's been damaged due to storm effects on the rear property facing the William Street side, and to replace it with a masonry material. Okay, here we have the subject property from the front. This is on the Fleming side. Okay, the images you have, let me go ahead and I'll pull out the cursor. Okay, here we have our advertising sign, and then we have a picture of the down fence. Okay, staff findings are as follows. The property is situated on the corner of Fleming Avenue and William Street. Features a 3,139 square foot home dating back to 1830 based on property records. No recent petitions have been brought to the HPC regarding this property. Third one is petitioners requesting approval to replace a wooden storm damaged fencing along the rear property line. The storm damaged fencing was made of wooden material, was destroyed. The petitioner seeks to replace the fencing with brick masonry fencing that is consistent with the fencing running along the perimeter of the rest of the property. The next one, this property is situated along the Fleming Avenue in Somerville near Walton Way Commercial Corridor. The property is zoned R1, one family residential. There are no zoning issues presented by this petition. Okay, the submittal is as follows. As you can see, we have a picture of the fence coming from the backyard of the property. Here's more another image here, as you can see how the fence came down. Another image over here. Okay, commissioners, I wanted to point this out. There was some information I wanted to provide. Here is the proposed alignment where the fence is going to be located from A to B. We have Fleming down here on the south side, down here on this area where my cursor is, and we have the William Street side over here. So it's a corner lot. I wanted to point out something because the old fence is about 6 feet high, running from this point to this point. And I'm going to get to some zoning information in just a second that's going to be made part of the recommendation. From this location to this location, like I said, the entire length. But the way the zoning code reads is that this is a front setback, this is a front setback, 30 feet in width apiece. How that pertains to fences is that this is a 4 foot high limit right here. The proposed fence, or the proposed wall, I should say, proposed in your packets is 5 feet 8 inches based on stated. Now that can be permissible. From this point to roughly this point, when I eyeballed, I didn't have a scale or anything, but I kind of eyeballed the scale, and that takes me from this point, which is where the property line is, back around 30 feet, which is roughly this way, but that's only a rough estimate. But in that distance, in this 30-foot distance, a fence or a wall is only allowed to be 4 feet tall maximum. In that area. So the fence or the wall as proposed, is definitely permissible, but as long as it meets zoning code. But we're here before you tonight because it's changing out the material. It's basically eliminating an existing fence and replacing it with brick material. So I wanted to point that out for the record. Okay, another submittal here, or another map that shows roughly the same thing, 4-foot high limit from this point to this point roughly, A to B. That's where our scope of work is going to be. Now this is a sample of the existing wall, and it's already existing on the property on the other side. So when we go back, the existing wall is over here on this side, and what the petitioner intends to do is to continue that all the way to this end here. Okay, Historic Augusta comments. The proposed brick wall, solid at the bottom and lattice at the top, meets Somerville design guidelines. The lower height is also acceptable. We recommend approval. Staff recommendation. Based on the information provided before you tonight, the proposed fencing materials conform to the applicable design guidelines. Staff therefore recommends conditional approval of the petition subject to BZA approval of wall height and required setbacks and any other conditions as the commission deems appropriate. In case the applicant wishes to have the continuous 5'8" height all the way across, a variance will need to be obtained by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So I just want to state that all for the record. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, that concludes my presentation. Myself, staff, and the applicant, we're all here to answer any questions you might have. Ms. Lee Booker is right over here on the other podium.
Ms. Booker, state your name and address.
Lee, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've lost my voice today. Lee Catherine Booker, 822 Fleming Avenue, Augusta, Georgia, 30904.
Do you have any other items you'd like to mention or discuss, especially about the variance and that?
I don't think so. We do plan to get the variant. We're going through that process. But, you know, if it doesn't work, then it'll be stepped down.
You have anything else to add? Okay.
I hope you approve it.
Okay. Anyone in the audience would like to step forward and speak to this issue? Going once, going twice. Commissioners, any questions of the applicant would you like to ask? Mr. Young?
No, I was going to make a motion that we.
You're going to make a motion. All right. No questions. All right, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt the staff recommendation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
I have a second, proper second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion passes with unanimous vote, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Welcome. Next item, Mr. Todd.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, let me just go ahead and get my information all together here. I'll go ahead and move on to the next item here. All right, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the next item before you tonight is another certificate of appropriateness for a fence. A petition by Seeger's Fence Company on behalf of First Christian Church for a certificate of appropriateness at 629 Green Street, located within the downtown historic district. The request is to install a 6-foot-high fence along the perimeter of the backyard of the existing parish building. Okay, here's our subject property. As you can see, let me just go ahead and pull up the cursor. This is the area where the church is, right here along Green and right here on the corner. And then here in the back here is where the fence is going to be going. Okay, staff findings are as follows. The property is situated in the corner of Green and 7th Street, features a 25,265 square foot church dating to 1874 and a 224 open brick porch dating to 1921. The next one, no recent petitions have been brought to the HPC regarding this property. Number 3, the property is situated on the corner of Green, 7th, and downtown Augusta's Historic District near downtown Civic Corridor. This stretch of Green Street blends with residences, churches, and office uses. The next one, number 4, the petitioner is requesting approval to install a new 6-foot-high fence along the perimeter of the backyard of the existing parish building. Currently, no fencing exists at that location on the property. The petitioner seeks fencing to increase security and to provide a secure area for their dogs from the Green Street thoroughfare. The petitioner has presented examples of fencing, materials, and the proposed design. And then the last one, the property is zoned B2, general business. There are no current zoning issues presented by this petition. Ahead. Here's some photos of the property. As you can see, here's the front. Around here, there's some missing area fence, but this is kind of separate from the scope of work that's being proposed tonight. Okay, area of the parking lot. The parish building is kind of roughly over here in this area. Now, this is a close-up as you walk into the parking lot from that location of the existing area to be fenced along here. Here's like a narrower area of the yard. Here's the bigger area of the yard that's proposed to be fenced. Okay, kind of another picture right over here off the street, looking down, our advertisement sign. Now, here's our submittal. We have 7th Street over here. We have Green over here. Here's our church. Here's the parking lot. This is the area where the fenced area is proposed to be located. Parish building is right here in this area. Submittal, as you can see, our parish building, Green Street over here on this side, and then here is the new fence proposed to be going, that'll cover the perimeter. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out one thing here. I'm going to get to the staff recommended fence model in just a second. But staff is recommending one design, but the applicant really is pushing for this design here. We were talking earlier. I see Mr. Caleb from Seeger's Fence Company over there on the other podium, along with Miss Wicker from the church. They brought a sample with them tonight to show the wire fencing. Now, fence sample. This is what staff is recommending right here, the circles right here. This was another sample turned in where my cursor is, but it was advised and recommended that the spear design be eliminated and the flat design be recommended for approval. There's already samples or examples of fencing of this kind in that vicinity. Okay, Historic Augusta comments. The application contradicts itself in that the written narrative requests approval of a chain link fence with barbed wire at the top. But the installation shows an iron fence with angled balusters that have sharp spears at the top. Chain link fences with barbed wire tops do not meet downtown design guidelines. We recommend denial of the request. If, however, the applicant intends to install an iron fence as illustrated, we recommend approval as meeting the downtown design guidelines. But we do not recommend approval of the balusters with the sharp angled spears on the top. If the applicant wishes to deter intruders from crossing over the fence, we recommend pointed vertical balusters that are not bent at the top. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the entire application was submitted to Historic Augusta. They were originally proposing a chain link fence, and that was definitely told to the applicant that would not be supported by staff. So. Anyway, having said all that, the proposed, this is staff's recommendation, the proposed ornamental aluminum fencing with a flat design without the spear design conforms to the design guidelines. Therefore, staff recommends approval of this request where the proposed fence has a maximum of 6 feet high. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, that concludes my presentation. Myself, staff, and the applicants, we're all here to answer any questions you might have tonight.
The applicant, would you please step forward and state your name and address?
I am Nyla Wicker, 849 River Bluff Road in North Augusta, member of First Christian Church. Good evening to everyone.
Do you have anything to add to the presentation?
First of all, I'd like to clarify the confusion. When we started 3 years ago as a church project, we have been renting out the manse, we call it, the parsonage, to traveling nurses. We prepared for 3 or 4 at one time in the house because it's 3,200 square feet. Way too big, and nurses don't want to live with each other. So we've been renting it one at a time. And what they do is bring their small pets, and they need a place to put the pets for some exercise. We have lost 2 pets on Green Street, but the overall goal that we have is safety. Now, safety implies more than dogs or pets. We are blocking off that side because the buildings cover that side, and because it is so easy for an intruder to go in that 1878 building through 6 or 7 windows on that side. And someone there living there by themselves, that's the danger. We also have a liability if you had looked back at the pictures, you will see a break in the shrubbery. That is where people who don't have a place to sleep will crawl in under that back porch, and we try to get the police. Most of the time we do, but they come and they drag them out. So we have the area under the building itself that they get into. And then they get into that fence and ramp area. So we have to have, and of course we are aware of how many fences we presented because we didn't even know if we could have a fence. So we just asked our contractor to submit several, knowing that's fence. I knew that spear one wasn't going to pass because I've been on this project at the church since 1989. And but our fence has to accommodate small animals, young people who can jump over a fence and sleep, and look good behind a 5-foot shrubbery row of boxwoods that goes down that whole side of the building. The fence would be inside that row of shrubbery, so you would only have 1 foot above it. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me while I bring my prop up here. Good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come speak. My name is Caleb Million. Address is 544 Blunt Road, Hepzibah, Georgia. I'm with Seeger's Fence Company, and there are the 2 fences, as Todd mentioned, that are proposed tonight. Mrs. Wicker noted the different goals that the church has for putting a fence up, so I won't go over those again. The reason that Seeger's is actually recommending this fence, which we call a welded wire fence, is it definitely meets every single one of those goals. And this is actually a fence that's not yet used here in Augusta in areas like downtown, but it actually is a fantastic fence to blend in with natural environments. It's not as visible from a distance as you're looking or driving by or walking by. A lot of customers that we've installed this fence for from a residential standpoint or downtown area in other cities, they use this as like a trellis for different plants to crawl up. Mrs. Wicker noted that it's going to be behind some bushes. It would blend very well with that and also meet all of their goals. And from a financial standpoint, it is actually much more affordable than an aluminum fence and still meets all of the goals. So from a color standpoint and a view standpoint, visibility, security, it does meet all their goals. That's why we are strongly recommending this one, even though it is a new fencing type here to this area. I'd be happy to answer any questions about it.
Is there any? Eric, I want to ask, would you want to speak to this style fence versus the other styles this time? Because you're recommending approval, now I'm not sure which is which.
This is first I've seen the fence. I've been working with First Christian Church, not much recently since Nyla did in 1989. So I wish them all the best in what they want to do. But I don't think that looks like anything we've got in the downtown historic district. So I would prefer the one that's been recommended by the staff. But that's me, that's not my committee.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak to this? Going once, going twice. All right, commissioners, do you have questions?
I do,
Go ahead,
Mr. Chairman. So the issue with the type of spear, and I'm asking Eric this: is it a stylistic thing, or is it a safety thing, or between? I mean, presenting them the alternative of having the spears as a deterrent for people jumping over the fence.
Well, it's a stylistic thing based on the downtown design guidelines. And,
Okay.
And Ms. Wicker, Dr. Wicker said that's not what she wants anyway. So I don't think they're going that way. But that has kind of some spears on it, which are vertical, which is what we said. I mean, we weren't anticipating this particular fence, but the one that we said, if you need spears, they need to go straight up and down.
As opposed to that.
Well, that goes up and down kind of.
Oh, I mean, because it was at an angle, so I didn't know if the angle had it.
I don't think it's at it. Well, is it at an angle? It goes, the top of it's straight. It's just an unusual design, I think.
Get closer.
Yeah. Okay. Could you turn it to the side so I can?
You want me to approach and get closer?
No, you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Bring it before the commission.
Oh.
Close up of it right here.
Okay.
Kind of has an iron type design.
I wouldn't want to incur any more financial burden on you, but in my opinion, you have a really beautiful church and a really nice, substantial-looking brick building. To me, that doesn't look substantial enough for that type of building. And my fear is, that after a while, if people were trying to get into it, it might look flimsy and kind of beaten. The photos showing a big expanse of it, it just doesn't look like it's suitable for that building. But that's my take on it. I like the fence that the staff recommended. I think that would be appropriate.
In terms of a security standpoint, the welded wire fence is actually our strongest secure fence other than a solid steel fence. We use it on a lot of industrial applications as well, but the only way to actually get through that is to use an angle grinder, and it takes about a minute to cut through one of those pieces of wire. So from a sturdy standpoint, stability standpoint, if you look at the photos, each panel is essentially going against one of those steel posts right there, and they're affixed with a clamp. I do have an example that I brought with me if you want to take a look at that. But when they are fixed, they're actually not able to be moved.
And I'll allow for that. In one of the photos, it looks like it's sort of wavy at the bottom, but it could be the photo.
We do have the V-groove on here, which actually is what helps support the overall stability of the fence. So that V-groove that we have, rather than having it be one solid sheet, that actually lends support once it's secured to those posts right there. That's why that's there.
Any further questions from the commissioners?
Is there a significant difference in the pricing of this fence and the other ones?
There is. An aluminum fence is about 40% more costly compared to a fence like this. It's a very cost-effective method to achieve all the goals while also still looking pretty good. So it is much more affordable.
Is the lifespan?
Both have a lifetime product warranty from us. Yes, sir.
Further questions?
Your product that staff is recommending, do you have an option with a straight spear?
Physically, we do have an option for the straight spear, but I'm not sure if a spear is being pursued with an aluminum fence at this time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, no, but the distance between the spindles is too wide. So that fence would not work. We do have one on the back of the church in the park.
Yeah, so you're wanting to go with this particular fence because of the spacing, so the little pets and stuff can't get out and squeeze through the fence. Is that the mindset on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
I'll make a motion that we approve based on staff recommendations with the aluminum fence with the top rail.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
It's been properly motioned and seconded. All in favor of recommending the staff recommendation, raise your right hand.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Vick, seconded by Commissioner McBrayer, and the motion passes by a unanimous vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't see that. One vote voted 9-1 vote.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Next application.
Okay, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the next COA before you tonight is a petition by Keen Signs on behalf of Brianne Martin for a COA, Certificate of Appropriateness, at 1243 Broad Street, located within the Downtown Historic District. The request to install 2 new signs on the front of an existing storefront. Here is our subject property. It's a new business called Fresh Water that just moved in, and the staff findings are as follows. The property is situated on the north side of the 1200 block of Broad Street, features a commercial building dating to 1933 based on property records. The second one, no recent petitions have been brought to HPC regarding this property. The third one, the petitioner is requesting approval to affix commercial signage advertising a new business, Freshwater Curated Goods, located on the property. The signage would consist of a double-sided hanging flag or sign design with dimensional letters, stud mounted with spacers, and also install a wall sign as proposed. Details of the proposed materials, design, and colors are attached in the report. The fourth one, finding, the property is located along Broad Street in the 1200 block near the edge of Downtown Historic District. Commercial storefronts predominate and or I should say dominate, and the block features some of the city's finest restaurants and major developments. And the next one, the proposed signage conforms to the downtown design guidelines. The sign size is well below the maximum 26 square feet and does not exceed the maximum height of 18 inches. The guidelines also state that the window signs should not obscure no more than 20% of the window glass, but no window signs are being proposed at this time or with the submittal of this application. The last one, the property is zone B2, general business, and there are no zoning issues presented. Here's some photos of the site. Sign locations are as follows. As you can see, the 2 of them right there on the storefront. We have our samples. We have the hanging sign, and we have the wall sign, as you can see right here in the presented in the report. Okay, Historic Augusta comments. It appears that the signs as proposed are consistent with the downtown design guidelines and the Augusta sign ordinance. We recommend approval. Staff recommendation. The proposed signage conforms precisely with the downtown design guidelines and is well designed and ultimately appropriate for the district. Staff recommends approval of this request as presented, subject to any conditions that the commission deems appropriate. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, that concludes my presentation on this item. Myself, staff, and the applicant, we're here to answer any questions. Ms. Dalton is over there on the other podium.
Madam, you go ahead and have anything to add to this application? Any statements you want to make?
No, not at this time.
Everything is what you want. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to address this issue? Going once, going twice. Okay. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen of the commission, do y'all have questions of this applicant at this time?
So, Mr. Chairman, I had a question that I sent to Todd a couple of days ago. I don't have a problem with the sign. I think I'm not objecting at all. My concern is that the sign is going to hang over the public right-of-way, which is the sidewalk. And state law prohibits commercial advertising on rights-of-way in the state of Georgia. So my question is there an approving authority that can give them an easement or something for this sign to be out on the public right-of-way? I know we don't have the authority to tell them they can do that. But here again, we're just approving the design of the sign, and I guess putting it out on the right-of-way is going to be somebody else's issue. I remember when I was in office, we went through this on Broad Street with tables and chairs in front of restaurants, and they had to come and get an easement from the city to have the dining on the sidewalk downtown. So I don't know what's been transpiring with signs since then, but just want to make sure that we don't tell her to go put something up, and then 6 months later, somebody comes back and says, well, you can't have it up there because it's over the right-of-way.
So our sign codes for the zoning ordinance is in section 28B, in installations and placement of materials or whatnot on the right-of-way may be treated differently, but because it is a fixed building, our sign codes do allow for it. It does have a projection limit of about 2 feet, but it is by right, fixture of our ordinance that will allow for the projection signs, as long as they don't exceed the square footage and go through the necessary design approvals.
Okay, well, that's reassuring. Thank you.
Any further questions?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
All right. I have a motion, we approve.
Second.
I have a second.
Let's see, who seconded the motion? Was that you, Dr. Hall? Oh, seconded, I'm sorry.
Second.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, we have a proper motion and a proper second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Unanimous vote.
Ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, Todd, next.
All right.
Case.
Okay, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the next case before you, 25-48. It's a petition by Mr. Eric Montgomery of the Historic Augusta on behalf of Christ Community Healthcare for a certificate of appropriateness that's pertaining to 2 properties. And one of them it's at 127 Telfair Street and 416 2nd Street. Here is 127 Telfair, and then here is 416 2nd Street over here. As you can see, my arrows right here that I pointed in is 1 and then 2 right there. It's located within the Old Town Historic District. The request is to relocate 3 existing cottages from this parcel over to this parcel and to demolish an existing accessory building right here in this parcel tucked away in this wooded vegetated area. Okay, subject property. This is an aerial photo. We have Telfair right here on this side. We have the existing building for Christ Community Church, or Community Healthcare, I should say. Sorry about that. And we have a total of 3 cottages, 1, 2, and 3 right there. I think my numbering might be a little off on there based on the image, or the image submitted by the applicant. The existing accessory building, from what I can tell, based on there, I didn't get close enough when I was doing the field inspection, but I think it's roughly in this area. This is at the 416 parcel, 127 parcel here. All right, submittal. This is where the cottages are going to be proposed to be located. Once again, Telfair, and we have 2nd Street over here. And then you can see the cottages, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the staff findings are as follows. Properties are located in the Old Town Historic District, in an area that is predominantly residential. 127 Telfair Street is 1.22 acres and located between Telfair and Green Street, with approximately 151 feet of road frontage on both Telfair Street and Green Street. The property houses Christ Community Healthcare and was originally built in 1911 based on property records. The property also contains 3 historic cottages. The next one, 416 2nd Street, is 0.21 acres located at 416 2nd Street with approximately 75 feet of road frontage on 2nd Street. Property is currently vacant. The next one, no recent petitions have been brought to the HPC regarding these properties. The last one, the properties in downtown Lower Neighborhood are in the Old Town Pinched Gut subdivision within the Old Town Historic District and mostly residential uses nearby. Staff findings continuing. The petitioner is requesting approval to relocate 3 historic cottages located at 127 Telfair to 416 2nd Street and demolish the overgrown vacant building located at 416 2nd. The next one, the property located at 127 Telfair is zone P1, that's professional office. There are no zoning issues presented by this petition. Property located at 416 2nd Street is zone R3C, multiple family residential. There are no zoning issues presented by the petition. Now here's our site plan. I use the same color code as presented by the applicant. We have this cottage, and this cottage, and to be respectfully located over here to this location. Here's our site plan, and actually I should say 1, 2, and 3 to be located over here in this area. Photos of the site, we have our sign, we have one of the cottages, we have a couple other cottages over here. This is over here on the 2nd Street parcel, another picture of the 2nd Street parcel here. Photos again, cottages 1 and 2, and then 3 is right here with the porch. Here's the submittal, picture of the building, of the office building on site. Cottages, here's coming from Telfair looking into the site. Close-up of the building. And then we have cottage 3 with the porch. Another side view of cottage 3. More pictures. And then kind of another picture of cottage 3 from the other side. And then cottages 1 and 2. And then cottage 2 and cottage 1 facing over here with those the facades. And then here's our submittal again with cottages 1 and 2 showing again. Moving ahead, and then we have 416 2nd Street facing the lot going towards the subject site at 127 Telfair. Once again, and then now here is kind of a close-up that was submitted by the applicant of the existing accessory building proposed to be demolished. It's really tucked away in that vegetation. And then, as you can see, more overgrown, all proposed to be demolished and cleaned out as part of this application. Middle again, accessory building. Okay, Historic Augusta comments. This is Historic Augusta's COA application on behalf of Christ Community Healthcare Services. We propose moving 3 cottages to a vacant lot at 416 2nd Street. There is a small dilapidated shed on the back of 2nd Street. That lot that is completely obscured by growth and is in the path of the proposed move. We will answer any questions in person at the HPC meeting. Okay, staff recommendation. Number 1, demolition of the building carrying the address of 416 2nd Street. Number 2, stabilization and relocation of 3 contributing historic cottage structures which are located at 127 Telfair to the vacant lot at 416 2nd Street. This shall be done via clear boarding and bracing bar as done previously at 858 Laney Walker Boulevard. Details of this method are attached. Number 3, the cottages shall be located on the site, located at 416 2nd Street, according to the applicable zoning setback and development standards of the R3C zone. The building permit issuance will be required prior to cottage relocation. And that concludes my presentation. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, myself, staff, and Mr. Eric Montgomery, we're all here to answer any questions you might have tonight.
Eric, would you step forward?
Yes, Eric Montgomery, Historic Augusta, 415 7th Street.
Do you have anything to add to the presentation, Eric?
Yeah, I'll just explain a little bit of the background of this. So in 2003, a previous owner donated a historic preservation easement for the widow's home, which is now Christ Community Health, to Historic Augusta. And similar to what you do, that means that in perpetuity, we have to approve any alterations, new construction, or demolition on that property. That's part of the state and federal statutes. So Christ Community acquired the property in 2007 as a donation because Clay Boardman had basically bought it from us. And then in 2010, the Christ Community requested moving 2 of the cottages to the back of the lot, well, now the front of the lot along Telfair Street. We agreed to that, so did the HBC at that time, and the idea was that they were going to restore these 3 cottages. That never happened. So in conversations with the folks at Christ Community, we agreed that we would take that on. They had acquired this lot on 2nd Street. So if they will, and it's adjacent to their property, so if they would donate that lot to us, then we would take on the expense of moving these properties to 2nd Street and arranging them in a way that they could either be 1 or 2 residential units. So that you know, this is kind of one step in a very complicated multi-step process. We're going to take, the idea is to take them through the parking lot. They're going to have to take down their fence, and we've got to clear that vegetation or we can't get the houses through there. We looked at going around on the street. That's a lot more complicated and a lot more expensive. So our mover can do it. We had no idea that that little shed was back there because it's so overgrown. And I went over there trying to find it, and I still haven't seen the thing. Those pictures that you have are from the guy that I've asked to give us a price to clear the lot. And he said, "Did you know there's a shed back there?" And I said, "No, there's not." And he said, "Yes, there is. Here are pictures of it." I said, "Are you sure that's not next door?" And he said, "No, it's on your property." So, I mean, nobody would have known that was there, but I thought, well, we're Historic Augusta, so we better ask before we tear down something. But there's not much to it. It doesn't look like. I have not ventured back in there to personally examine it, so those pictures are all we've got. So that's where we're coming from. And this is one step in many steps to get this done to save the buildings. And I will say this, people have asked me, what were those buildings? I can't really prove it. You know, the widow's home was originally the city hospital, and those may go back to that time period before the widow's home building that's there now, which was built not what that said, but in 1887. They're probably about that old, in my opinion, but I don't know for sure. One of the things that we showed you was a Sanborn map, so the earliest Sanborn maps are already there. So I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
Does anyone in the audience have any questions of the applicant? Going once, going twice. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I guess this is more of a question for staff. Are we approving or reviewing the layout at 416 2nd Street, or is that future?
I think that's mostly, if I can answer, I think that's mostly future. It's like what you have before you is a concept plan. That's why in the recommendation, or one of the statements I should say, is that's why it has to go through the building permit process with the proper setback and distance requirements as required by building and zoning codes.
Can I answer all that? So there is a sketch in your packet. Well, that one on the screen, go by this one. Rob Malden did this one. I did that one, kind of playing paper dolls, and I didn't do a very good job of it. But so Rob, who's an architect, kind of figured out how they would fit on the lot. And this, in his opinion, complies with the zoning. But we will need to still go through that process.
I have one question. What's the timeline on this project, Eric?
Well, so our mover will have to get, well, first of all, the Christ Community still has to deed us the lot, okay? So we can't move them until we own the lot. We've been working on that for months. I'm hoping that will happen very soon. Second, we've got to find out when the mover can do it, because I got his input several months ago And they don't move on a dime. I mean, it takes him a while because they have other projects and their equipment is somewhere. But I know I've got 6 months, and surely we can do it in 6 months. But I can't
That
tell
was, that was
exactly
because the COA is only good for 6 months, and we've been going down that road for a while. So just didn't, that's the reason why I was asking how long it's gonna take to complete the project.
I've got a question. Eric, after you move them, are they going to get repurposed? Are you planning within the next year to get those back up to shape and all?
We will stabilize them, mothball them, hopefully find a buyer. This is part of what we call our revolving fund program. The idea is that you might somehow take control of a historic property, and you might buy it. There's a lot of ways, and then you find a buyer. And so I don't know. I was talking to a neighbor who called about this the other day, and he seemed to think that there may be some people in the neighborhood that might be interested. But as long as they restore it, they're probably, as this sketch shows, they're going to have to be usable. The two bigger ones only have 2 rooms, and then the one has only 1 room. So they're going to have to be combined with new construction, and that'll have to come back to you if it's definite, or have a little addition to it or something. But something like this, because not much else will fit on the lot.
We have any questions? All right, we have a motion.
I make a motion, we approve.
Do we have a second to the motion?
I second it.
All right, we have a motion properly and seconded. All in favor, raise your hand.
Motion passes by unanimous vote, Mr. Chair.
Next application.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chair, the last COA before you tonight, COA number 25-49, a petition by JKJC LLC on behalf of Diane House for a certificate of appropriateness located at 1544 Craig Street, located within the Somerville Historic District. The request is to demolish an existing house that was burned and construct a new house in the same place. Here's our subject property, as you can see, with pretty severe fire damage. Staff findings are as follows. The property is located on the south end of Craig Street between Central Avenue and Wrightsboro Road. It features a 2,472 square foot building dated from property records to 1891. The second one, no recent petitions have been brought to the HPC regarding this property. Number 3, the petitioner is requesting approval to demolish the home, which was destroyed by a fire in October of 2024, based on the fire report, and build a new home on the site. The petitioner has been provided an insurance report as well as a series of photos detailing the damage to the home. Additionally, the petitioner has presented a post-demo plan for a new home on the site with elevations and a materials list. The fourth one, the property is zoned R2, that's 2-family residential. There are no zoning issues presented by the petition. Okay, here are the photos of the property. So you can see there's the interior with the fire damage. Here's our sign. Now, that is the existing site plan as was presented by the property owner or the applicant. Now, this is the proposed site plan, and with the new building as shown being proposed, setbacks have all been met. That was something we discussed with the applicant to make sure that they go right to the building permit process. Here's our submittal. We have the front, rear, side, and other side right here. The one side has a garage. That's an addition that's proposed. Historic Augusta comments are as follows. The photos provided adequately demonstrate that the existing house is beyond repair. New construction is covered in the Somerville Design Guidelines, pages 93 through 110. The recommended design features covered in the guidelines include massing, footprint, complexity of form, directional expression, orientation, height and width, scale, roof, window, and door openings, porches and porticos, if I'm saying that right, materials and texture, color, architectural details, and decorative features. These features should be measured in comparison to the surrounding properties. The plan as proposed addresses each of these features. We do, however, have some specific recommendations. Number one, hardy plank is proposed for the exterior siding. If approved, we recommend a thicker profile that imitates the shadow line and weatherboard siding. Some cementitious synthetic siding is much thinner. We also recommend smooth surface siding rather than simulated wood grain finish, which is not typical of a painted weatherboard. The second one, the front roof line should ideally break at the same angle as the back roof line. Consider a front gable over the front porch similar to the existing house that eliminates the need for a dormer. The next one, we recommend eliminating the dog ear returns at the corner eaves. The horizontal cornice should turn the corner and return on itself approximately 3 feet past the corner and should turn the corner and return on itself approximately 3 feet past the corner and should be capped with sheet metal sloping approximately 2 by 12. The ranking sloping cornice should intersect the top of the cornice return. The next one, reproducing some of the design features of the original house would be desirable, such as shingled siding in the gabled ends, shutters that actually fit the windows, and columns on the front porch. Staff recommendation is as follows. Staff recommends the commission grant a conditional approval to the petition condition as follows. Number one, the approved COA should constitute approval of the demolition for the home currently occupying 1544 Craig Street, as well as for the construction of a new single-family home. The second one, the new construction shall substantially conform to the design in which that has been presented as post-demolition plan associated with this petition. Number three, any substantial change to the design of the new construction or related site improvements, i.e. driveways, walks, etc., shall require subsequent COA petition to the HPC. In addition, the petitioner is advised that a demolition permit shall be obtained within 6 months of COA approval, and B, new construction shall be completed with 18 months of COA approval. The next one, features of the home, if found to be reusable and structurally sound, shall be incorporated into the new home, i.e. the columns, the front door, bricks, and any historic architectural elements. That pretty much, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, that concludes my presentation tonight that I have before you. I see the applicants in the audience that can, and myself and staff, answer any questions you might have.
The applicant, would you please step forward and state your name and address? And add anything you would like to this report or the application.
My name is Diane House, 1544 Craig Street, Augusta, Georgia, 30904.
CJ McCollum, JKGC, 1514 Montesano Avenue.
Do you have do you have any objections to any of the recommendations from Historic Augusta and or the staff report about making those changes to the property?
No, I go for it.
You go for it. Yes, sir.
I guess the only thing is, obviously this is an insurance claim, and this happened storm-related. It was not due to a tree coming through the house, but it was a mechanical failure. Actually, the house was saved early, and then the fire department did not put it out, and it came back and caught fire again, causing the extent of the damage. The only thing, we're ready to go. We've been ready to go. She's been displaced across the street for a year, and that's kind of how we came into contact. She kind of knew the other stuff was going on, but the 18 months of the reconstruction, we're going to do our best, but if we can, we still are working on the final plans, interior plans. This is, right now, just to take down the building that she's had people living in it, coming through. We just need to get it secured, taken down, and then if we're okay with the layout and this formalized exterior plan, we know everything that we need to do for HPC and what the county is in Somerville. We do it all the time. So the materials and all of the processes of the exterior looks and the eaves and however we have to do it, those will be finalized in our plans. And we are working on that now. But I just want to make sure that when we're saying 18 months, we hope to get her in way before that. But the timeline would be, is that do we have to have it at 18 months, or is that, we just have to kind of see where we are once the insurance settles on it?
Well, my only question to you is this: we've had these COAs come before us before. We did the demolition, and then somehow or another, mysteriously, nothing ever gets put back. I don't think this is the case here, but my main concern was the recommendations to the staff and also Historic Augusta that you bring back, a livable house there, in the proper amount of time. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, staff, but once they demolition, that's the first part of the COA. But now the 18 months, once they pull a permit, once they start, isn't there continuing on with that rather than it ending in 18 months? Is it extended as they're making progress? It may take 24 months for them to get it finished, but is the permit, what's the length of the permit? As long as they're making
6
progress.
months. As long as they're making progress, we would extend it.
That's what I want to make sure that was.
And if this was not a insurance-related scenario, and obviously we've been doing a lot of it for people in town, if it was not an insurance-related project, I would not have a problem with that at all. Unfortunately, when we're dealing with the insurances, and her insurance has been good, it's delaying and dragging, and she's got funding now to get us going, and we should be able to just roll through this. But obviously, it's just insurance drags us down.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask if this would maybe answer their concern. If we gave approval, they've got, within 6 months, they've got to tear the house down.
It'll be torn down within.
And then what we would say that within the subsequent 18 months, you will pull a building permit within that 18-month period.
Right.
So the construction could go on after 18 months, but that permit has to be pulled within 18 months. Does that? Does will staff go along with that? Will that work? Rather than have completion in 18 months, you pull the permit in 18 months.
She only has one more year of where she is across the street. So we want to push this forward, not only to push the demolition down for safety purposes, but also to get the process going. Right. And we do know that there's going to be a several-month thing with the architects and just getting it to the county. Right. But so no, we're not sitting on this as if we're just going to wait. She's already got her plan. We've already been working on it. It's now just a matter of if we can tear it down, it helps us get things going.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the staff recommendation with this change that rather than new construction be completed within 18 months, that a construction permit be pulled within 18 months.
Do I have a second to the motion?
A second.
All right, I have a motion and I have a proper second. Any further discussion of this motion? Hearing none, raise your right hand.
Motion was made and seconded, passed by unanimous vote, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, that concludes all of the certificates of appropriateness heard before you tonight. But one quick note, I'd like to just bring it back, maybe back in the agenda to item number 2. I think both sets of minutes, the minutes were skipped over earlier on because we were talking. So I just thought I'd just bring the attention back to.
Do we have has all the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes? And if so, do we vote on them separately, council?
You can vote on one and spread it separately.
All right. All right. So the first item we'd have to take a vote on would be the July 4th minutes. Do I have a motion we accept?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept, approve the minutes for July 24th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
All right, all in favor, raise your hand.
Todd, is Leon maybe making that?
What's that?
Is Leon maybe making that recommendation?
Understood. Yeah, I have it. Motion by Commissioner Mabin, seconded by Commissioner Heath.
I'm following instructions.
All right, gentlemen, do I have a motion to accept, to approve the minutes of August 28th, 2025 meeting?
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Okay, motion made by Dr. Hall and seconded by Commissioner Mabin, and motion minutes are approved or adopted by unanimous vote.
Well, I want to ask a question. Item 3, old business 2535. Is that something are we approving the petition, or was that a provision where?
You know what, Mr.
Postponed because we skipped over that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just to kind of address that, I think that's, what's that? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I've been, when I first started, I noticed that item was on the agenda, and I just sort of kept it on as kind of an FYI. So, but I can definitely tell you, after talking with the applicant, item number 3, they wish to come back. They're set to come back, and they'll be before you next month. I've spoken with them about this already, and it was just on the agenda. And I just sort of kind of kept it on there as kind of an FYI. I don't know if it's a format or if it had to be on there, but that's why I kept it. It's just to let you know that item is proposed to be coming before you next month in October.
In October.
Yes, sir.
So we didn't approve to post.
I think it's just.
We have postponed it on 2024.
That's right.
But we never, and you put it back on the agenda, but we're not going to address it now because it's not here.
No, sir. Yeah, there's nothing to address because it's not in your staff report packets. It's just more of just FYI.
I would leave those off in the future. Don't put them on the agenda. Because that'll just confuse the issue.
I'll do that. I just kind of kept it as going, but all right.
All right. Okay, one other thing, we got this information, list of staff approval of COAs from August, September 2025.
Actually, Mr. Chair, another item under item 3, there's a sub-item B under there, and it's about review and follow-up and review of.
Oh, we've already talked, we pulled that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
We already pulled that.
I'm sorry about that. I did not know. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Now, the next item is the list of COAs from August and September. I have been talking with the staff, discussion with this. For the commissioners, I feel that we need to know after our COAs last for 6 months. If they expire, we need to know when they expired and what action we need to take after they expired. if, I mean, if they say they're gonna, if they say they're gonna demolition something and they haven't, then we need to know so we can follow the appropriate protocol within the department. Do you agree with that, Mr. Director?
Yes, we don't have a problem getting y'all the information on that.
Okay.
And we'll follow up with you on each time someone get close to that time when it expires.
Because once they expire, they're done, and then we have to address them. So next month we'll have a list of COAs for the past while and where they rank that we have approved, whether they've been completed, whether they're being carried on, or what. Just have a summarization. Is that a problem?
So in terms of providing this information, what context are we working on?
What we're working on is we passed a COA. We should have an update. I'd say a minimum, if we have a 6-month COA, we should have a report at least 3 months along the line, whether they have pulled a permit, whether they've done any work at all. And then by the 6th month, we should have a report that nothing has been done. The COA is gone, and anything we do, it has to come back before the commission, and we have to address it. And then also that the staff would have to address any appropriate citations or anything we'd have to deal with the property.
And what's the starting point? So are we going back to like March or May or?
I'd say 6 months back from now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, we'll try to work on that. Now, I will say, it's a lot of work. So
I understand, but we just need to know, because we have cases that we've had, and they made promises, and they haven't fulfilled the promise.
Right.
And we got parking lots.
It's all about keeping people accountable.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That goes back to Commissioner Young's question earlier. What are we going to do? I mean, if we don't have the backing, what's the purpose?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm not really directing you, Kevin. I'm just, I'm talking to the whole staff about this. What do we do?
Honestly, I think we need some type of emergency mothball put in place. I really do. But we don't have that with the city, and we need to try to address that some kind of way.
What's the difference?
What's the difference between a mothball and an emergency mothball?
So normally the way it's, to me, the way it is with the city, the owner of the property is the one responsible for the mothballing. We normally don't have nothing in place that we come into play where we mothball. So I really feel like we need some type of emergency fund, where if there is situations like what we're dealing with 1140, we put something in place where, okay, the applicant is not taking care, or the owner is not taking care of his property. We need to address it and put something in place where we do it and we charge the owner, put a lien on the property. It's just my opinion on it, but I know we have to go before where we need to go to have these things approved.
Counsel, would you like to address any of this legalese on properly we do this, or is this something we have to go through the commission to get the authority to do this, or is this something we can do since it's against city codes?
Let the legal department study that, and we can, similar to our last meeting, we can have a meeting to discuss that, a planning meeting of some sort, okay? All right.
Okay. Do we have any real estate issues or personnel issues or?
No, sir, no legal discussion.
No legal matters.
Correct.
All right, gentlemen, are there any other questions from the commission you'd like to address this time?
Oh, Mr. Chair, just one quick thing. You might be getting that already, and you might have addressed it, but the staff-approved COAs were just passed out to you. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, mostly during the month of September. Mostly just rehabilitations and, some things that staff looked over.
Do we follow up on these staff approvals?
Once
Do we follow up on the staff approvals? Because they're only good for 6 months.
I think that's one of the things that.
That's, I mean, if you've tasked us to look on to these requests, so that's something that we could present to you moving forward.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, any other questions? Ladies? All right, hearing none, somebody make a motion, we adjourn. Leon, you good at that?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, any objections? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
All right.